Welcome, Pulling fans. It is Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Well, I disappeared there for a minute, Mike. Did you see that?
You got your camo on. You got that
Yeah,
black shirt with your black
I didn't
backdrop.
even
You're kind of a
intend to do
magician.
that. It's not even a Halloween thing. It just kind of
Yeah.
happened. Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Time for Outlawed live, right here live with myself, Ron Stone, and Mike Idle back in the house. Mike, say something inspiring to the folks out there.
Oh, I don't know if we've got a lot of inspiring wisdom or a lot of big calls out there right now. The season has come to a conclusion, as I'm sure Ron talked to you about 1 week ago. All our points champions are crowned. It's an odd feeling for me, Ron. You know, it is 100% certain that the pulling season is done. We're getting ready for hunting season here in Missouri. We're deep in the heart of teaching. And yeah, outlaw pulling. Time to start ticking down the days till the farm show and then the outdoor 2026 season. And that's where we're at. But we have a lot of fun champions we're going to talk to in the meantime.
Yeah, deep in that process already, Mike. Working on that schedule. Of course, you know we're working on procuring sponsorship for next year too. Anybody out there wants to be an outlaw sponsor? Give us a ringy dingy. We'd love to hear what you got going on. I will tell you that we do sponsors. We do take on board. I say we consider it a partnership more than such as a sponsorship, because we're in it with you and we're out there trying to sell your product. And if you got a good product, we'll take you on board. Literally, if it's not a great product and we know it's not, we may not take you on board. So we like to stand behind the products that we're pushing out there to folks in Outlaw Nation. So any potential sponsors out there, you want to get seen by a larger group of people. You want to spread it not only nationally, not only in the Midwest, not only nationally, but globally. We can do that with our partnership with Full Pull Live, the official live streaming channel of the Outlaws. Also, if you haven't signed up for that Case IH Outlaw Superfan contest, go to the website right now and get that done before that closes out. That brand new Farmall 25 SC tractor with the bucket on the front plus $4,000. Going to draw for that, Mike. Unofficially, I'm going to say it's next week when we draw for that. So get those in. Go to outlawpulling.com. Scroll down on the homepage. Get entered ASAP. Love to see somebody that watches the show on a regular basis win that tractor.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That's going to be cool. November's here already, 1 week from tonight. So I remember we talked about all summer. November rolls around. We're going to be looking to give that away. That's another great partnership that we have there with Case IH. I want to circle back to a couple of things you said. You talked about, working on that 2026 schedule. This is a world we live in where pulling fans want to know what pulling is going to look like. They want to know now. You see on ESPN, the minute the season ends, they always have the way too early power rankings or the way too early discussion. You're not going to pry anything out of us, but Ron, you and I are kind of familiar with the most tentative renderings of what 2026 could look like. We're not at a point where we can start talking about it. But I will say it looks like it has the potential to be a very intriguing, very interesting year. It's an exciting time to be on our side of the fence, kind of looking at some of this stuff. 2026 can't get here soon enough already. You talked about sponsors as well already. I think you're going to see some new faces, some new partnerships, some people that we're very excited. I know right here in my neck of the woods, we're going to be bringing on a company right here from Macon County, Missouri, that they're super excited. They're big pulling fans. They're big agricultural fans, big blue collar individuals, and looking forward to debuting all that in 2026. So just because the smoke has cleared doesn't mean that there's not a lot of moving pieces between now and next year.
Yeah. And, like I said, the reach that we have on social media with the Outlaws, you can't open Facebook if you're a pulling fan or even just motorsports in general without seeing something from the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pullers. I'll give you for example here, and I'm going to call out a winner here tonight on this. I had an impromptu contest, Preston Collins with the Optimus Prime truck. And then going back to Lufkin, Mike, you haven't been on the show since before Lufkin. Even though we got rained out for most of the show on Saturday night, you still missed one of the best tracks we've had there. Awesome show down there at Lufkin this year. And by the way, the rain video that Beer Money Pulling Team had posted for the Outlaws that showed Kyle walking in slow motion.
I don't know why. I'm so glad you why on earth I was possessed with watching my boss and a good friend, someone I've seen a million times, wave his hands like this. I bet I watched that video on repeat 10 times. That was a mesmerizing job that they did there. And what a great pull back the curtain. And you know what he's thinking. You can read his
Yeah.
lips. That's the behind the scenes of pulling. And sometimes he's up there going like this, and you know everything about it, wants to keep pulling, but Mother Nature, she wins sometimes. But what a
Yeah, well,
wild.
we knew at that point, Mike, that if we had any more rain, which we had a gully washer earlier in the day, and Richard Morris did a superb job of building the track and fixing the track this year. One of the best tracks, if not the best track we've ever had there. But we knew that if it rained anymore that evening after he had fixed that track before the show, there was no way to fix that. And plus, when that rain came, it'd give us about a 20-minute break in between, and it would dump on us some more, then 10-minute break and dump on us some more. But when that happened, I just want to clear the air. I seen a lot of folks commenting that it was AI. They thought it was snowing, that AI improvement. And no, that's high definition cameras in slow motion, picking up great big old Texas raindrops pouring on us down there in super slow motion. You can see Kyle just doing this really slow to Lloyd Newton as he pulled out on the track. But no AI. That was just high def video.
In their defense,
slow-mo.
we did see a large application of pulling AI inspired images kind of coming out over the past couple of weeks too.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting tricky, Ron. You know, we know what to look for. We know the finer points of haulers and where the headers are supposed to go. But you know, that's a discussion. That's a whole off-topic discussion that you and I could sit around a campfire and have big opinions on, I'm sure. But it's interesting where things are going to be going. That video was truth.
Some of it's people with way too much free time, I think, to come up with some of these videos. But yeah, it was a great pull. But going back to what I was saying about our reach on social media, I posted a video that Preston Collins had sent me on his second run on Friday night. If you don't know the story on this, he has a new truck called Optimus Prime. Pulls it in the 3.0 diesel class. Well, Friday night, and he had planned this for the weekend, Friday night at Lufkin, after the 3.0 class, he took it back to the pit area. They pulled all the tires and wheels off, put on some bar tires, took off the 3.0 turbocharger, slapped on a 3.6 turbocharger. It became a pro stock, which he pulled in the super stock class, and had a lot of RPM. I think if he had another gear up there, he might have been able to contend with Kong and One Nation. But he took an in-cab video, and I thought it was cool. And he told me what the RPMs were, because that was the first thing I asked. You could hear that coming, it's just screaming. So I posted that video up that he sent along a week ago, and just posed the question, you know, how many RPMs is Preston turning with Optimus Prime on this pass? Whoever can guess it right will give you a 2025 souvenir program and an Outlaw souvenir hat. So just to give you an idea, now this was yesterday when I checked these numbers. The reach on this was just insane. Yeah, as of yesterday, over 24 hours ago, close to 400,000 views.
Yeah.
270,000 reaches, over 7,000 reactions, and 90% of those reactions, those views, were from people that don't even follow the Outlaws. So that just tells you the reach that we have with the Outlaws. So pretty interesting. Some of those stats in a week's time, they could reach that many people. Pretty crazy.
Definitely, I think in today's day and age would be a sponsor or a partner's dream out there, not only as an advertising tool that people can flesh out their product, a recruitment tool as well. You know, I think a lot of companies out there are, especially in the agriculture or the blue collar industries, are looking for help. They're looking for young men and women to come out there on the road or to work in whatever capacity. And that's the world that we live in. You know, these are the people that we have at our polls. These are the people that are looking at that on Facebook and looking at that on YouTube and social media. Good partnership, big reach. To professionally, the Outlaws is one thing I always kind of want to clarify with people when you tell your buddies or I tell my boss, like, hey, I have to take off, I'm going tractor pulling, we need to almost rephrase that and say, I'm going to my professional motorsports. This is a professional company here. And yeah, the impact is going to be big. So if you're thinking about how can I reach more people in that universe, Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling, going to be a great opportunity, going to be a great partnership for you out there.
And by the way, the contest, the Outlaw Superfan contest brought to you by Case IH, it ends this Friday night at the end of the day.
So time to still get registered. The window is open. You are saying that right, Ron?
Yep.
We can
Yep.
still go out there and register.
11:59 p.m. Friday night, and it gets
Halloween.
Saturday. That's right. That's right.
Have a nice treat. Trick or treat. We'll make a treat. Make it be your treat.
So, yep, get those entries in. And I'd love to be able to give that tractor away to somebody that watches the show, one of our super fans out there. We've got some folks watching. See some new names on here, some folks we haven't seen.
Yeah, that's good to see. Absolutely.
Very cool. Tina and Eric Berger watching from Wilbur, Nebraska. Said she missed you, Mike.
Hey, I appreciate that. I was thinking about that the other day. Truly, honestly, the support that comes with the Outlaw family. If we do our When the Smoke Clears tonight, we're going to see another recurring theme. And a recurring theme is you guys, the fans. We talk about our Outlaw family, Ron, but I think that could at times extend to the fans as well. We have the best fans, not just in pulling, not just in motorsports. I think we have the best fans on planet Earth. They're a loyal group. They come out and support us. So that means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
And Marty Samuelson said he's in the tractor watching. Be careful out there, Marty. Hope you got the auto steer engaged there.
Pulling the grain cart. Let us know what you're doing. You got to be getting kind of close. The end's got to be in sight, And
of course, Fred Petch watching from Milford, Nebraska. Of course, the Petch family celebrating a championship this year. Case and Petch, just a couple years back, was a rookie. Now he's an Outlaw Points champion. Pretty cool story there for the Petch family. And I'm gonna play that video. I'm gonna go ahead and give that hat and that souvenir program away here, Mike. Let me go to my share screen here. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Mike, what's your guess on this? How many do you think?
Well, the audio is a little bit hard to hear. I did watch this video earlier. Oh, Ron, this isn't, you've announced with me long enough to know you're not supposed to ask me mechanically inclined questions. I'm the sports mind here. You're the mechanic guy. So we're looking at the diesel trucks here. I'm going to say, we're over 7,000. I'm going to go 7,000-ish.
Here, we got Skyler Leeper here. Let's bring him on, see if he can guess.
Yeah, I get to phone a friend. Here, let me bring him on. And but before I get to use this as my phone a friend, Skyler, what is, like you hear in the gas trucks, I know those a little bit better, 10 grand is the magic number, 10,000 RPM for the Pro Stock four-wheel drives. What is just the mega number for a limited Pro Stock diesel truck? What's a number that guys claim to touch but rarely ever do? What's the top RPM you guys can get to?
It all varies on the track, how much it pulls on the motor, but I think at Texas, I never pulled it under 4,900. So, and he was definitely higher than that.
So seven's way too high then. So seven's way too high. So
let's listen one more time.
56, 5,800, I'm guessing.
But let's listen one more time here. He was getting up there a little bit. What do you think now?
I don't have audio on it. Skyler, can you hear the audio when he plays that?
What?
Yeah, it's
Can you hear the audio? But you can see the video, right?
We see the video, but we have no audio with it.
Well, that just went on. Wow.
You're really handicapping me.
Funny because I can hear it. All right.
Yeah, we've got some of our fans saying that the audio is not getting.
Well, I can hear it, and it's sending the video.
You're gonna have to make the noise with your mouth, Ron. You gotta show us.
Yeah. Well, it was the number was he peaked out at 6,443 RPM.
Okay.
Top. And the closest anyone got to that out of all, I think there was close to 300 comments on this. People guessed. A lot of people got close, but the closest was Devin Levi from Indiana guessed 6,440. So he was 3 RPM off. So that was the closest one. So I'll reach out to Devin Levi and get his address and everything, send him a hat, a program. Maybe we can get Preston to sign a hat for him or something and send it as well. So very cool though. We had a huge reach on that. That post went viral. So we got the 2025 Outlaw Limited Pro Diesel Pickup 4-wheel drive champion, back-to-back titles here. Skyler Leeper, how's it going, buddy?
Pretty good.
So what's it take to be a back-to-back points champion with the Outlaws in this diesel pickup class?
A lot of hard work, dedication. It's very hard. Just got to keep up on maintenance and trying to keep things going, keep it in one piece, checking things over.
I love it how it always comes down to the wire down in Lufkin, Texas every year between you and Megatron, Jason Wayman. But you had a little bit of breathing room this year. Wasn't as close as it has been in years past.
Yeah, last year it came down to the last hook, and we're back to back. So it's pretty nerve wracking. But you got the job done last year.
You created a little more breathing room on Friday night, and of course we didn't get to run the class on Saturday night, unfortunately. But it was looking better after you run Friday night. You gapped him a little bit. But what do we expect in 2026? What's new coming down the pike here for the Legal Limits team?
We're gonna try to get this new truck together and break it in and see what all kinds of problems we're gonna have with it. Of course, we're gonna have some.
Hold the phone here. New truck.
Yeah. Been gathering parts for several years, and we got enough stuff to finish it up this year.
Okay, this is a 3.0 truck?
Yep.
So you're going to be running 2, or is this a replacement chassis? What are we talking about?
No, we're going to run 2. If I figured if I got enough shots at it, I can get it done.
Didn't you have your name is attached to more than one truck right now? Bring us through? So is this what's kind of happened and what's developed with everything here? Has another truck gone by the wayside, or what's the whole story?
I used to drive Jimmy Deverman's truck a little bit, but it's a mechanical motor, and mine's a EFI electronic fuel injection motor. So they just drive so much different. It was messing me up on driving mine. So,
so now you'll have a second in your stable set up more or almost carbon copy of what you've already got, 2 of your style trucks, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Doing a little different chassis on it. It's going to be a 2nd gen. Motor's going to be pretty similar. So.
And you're driving both trucks?
Yeah. My dad's going to drive it a little bit when they're close to home. So.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay. That's pretty awesome. We're starting to see that class get a little bit of growth here lately. Starting to see some new trucks get in there.
Yeah, Jason Goody's going to be out next year. He's had a few years off, but been pulling his tractor. But I think he's going to be out next year. There's a few more. We might We might see guys from east of the river come play with us quite a bit.
That'd be intriguing. You know, we were starting to see a little bit more. I know Texas is a hotbed for pulling, and there's a kind of a haven of these trucks down there as well. But we were seeing some trucks from Louisiana and seeing some trucks from Texas. So to watch this grow with the Outlaws, that'd be awesome. Now, did you go down to Georgia this year? Have you been down to the big diesel extravaganza that they have down there?
I have never been.
Okay.
I wanted to go this year. I mean, I've watched it on TV. I think we could have done pretty well this year.
And the reason I asked, because Ron's talking about this class growing, and I had the opportunity to go down there year before last, and there were 62 3.0 diesel trucks. They actually capped the class this year at 40 entrants. So I didn't know if you'd had the opportunity to go down there and run side by side with those guys or not.
I ran with several of them. The truck I drove, the Ford I drove at Texas, actually won it overall. So he did really well. He won one day, and I think third or fourth. I ain't sure how he did the second night, but he did good overall.
Okay, those guys came out of Southern Indiana, right?
Yeah, Salem, Indiana.
A little bit. But yeah, I saw that today. That's a pretty good deal. So a lot of the trucks that went to Lufkin had a pretty good weekend down there. Preston had a good weekend, and Jeremy had a good weekend. I think he finished third Friday night.
Yep.
Was in the lead there for a while. And
I think Jeremy did the best out of the group from Texas that was at Texas. I think he 10th overall.
Yeah, he got, what was it, third on Friday night. I'm not sure what he got on Saturday, but he was in the lead there for a while on Friday night.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was a pretty good testament to the caliber of trucks we've got with the Outlaws. Robert Miner's asking, would you ever drive a Ford? Well, he did down in Lufkin just not even 2 weeks ago, Robert. So, yeah, the answer to that is yes, I think.
Yeah, I drove the Ford. Ain't real crazy about them, but not like it was hard to see out of compared to my truck.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that. It's got a big.
I ran it off the scales before I even made it to the track, making a real good impression.
So I've got a video here of you pulling on Friday night. Let's see. Well, I did have. Maybe it didn't download, but all right. Go ahead, Mike. I'm gonna see if I can find that video here.
Yeah, that's fine. So I pulled some stats over here for you. This is always kind of fun for our points champions this year. So Ron was talking about back-to-back points championships. This is the second time you've actually done that, according to my notes that I pulled up over here. You went back-to-back in 2016, 2017, if everything looks correct here.
That is correct.
Two times going back-to-back. Is one of those sweeter than the other? And then I hate to ask it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's stopping the trifecta? Is 2026 going to be the year we get the hat trick and grab 3 in a row?
Yeah, this last 2 years in a row has been pretty sweet. We've been winning a bunch, so I'm pretty proud of that. But I don't see no reason why we can't do 3 in a row. We just got to concentrate this winter, do some dyno work. Don't want to change the setup too much, but we're real competitive. But there's some other guys working on it too.
What I would say is, in those years, in those 3 years, the past 3 years, Jason Wayman's played the bridesmaid each of the past 3 seasons. Is he one of the biggest bullets to dodge, or is it all of them out there like you're saying?
They're all out there working on it. Like I said, Jeremy, he's made some major improvements here mid-season to the end of the season. Preston, he's starting to get that thing figured out. And there's going to be more competition next year, so
yeah.
It's going to be hard. But
what are your thoughts on like what Preston's doing, Skyler? You think anybody else is going to try that now? Carry on an extra set of tires and another turbo?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see there's no one running EFI in that class, and I think there's a big advantage. So that's why he's done so well. My truck's set up. I mean, got the big front end, so I just need tires and a turbo, and like to try it, but I'm trying to keep all my eggs in one basket and focus on 3.0. And
let me ask you this, because I've seen this is one thing I really like about the diesel trucks, and I think if people aren't paying attention to them, really there's about 4 diesel truck classes, and the world needs to look at all of them. I've seen people jump 2.6 to 3.0. That's not terribly uncommon. They'll take the duals off, and then they'll put the Charger on, and then I've seen the Pro stock jump up to the Super stock, but it had never really occurred to me to jump 3.0 up to Pro stock. Is that the easiest jump? What if someone's going to hop from one class to the next? Is it 2.6 to 3.0, 3.0 to Pro stock to Super stock? Which one makes the easiest transition at a pull for your current setup?
I'd say none of them are real easy.
Okay. So it takes a little bit of a crazy man to do any of that.
Especially being new, having a new truck and to the 3.0 class and just never pulled 3.6. I don't think Preston has, and doing real well. So
now I would have to say, I'll jump in here and say that I think the easiest transition is for a Pro stock to go pull with the Super stocks, because I don't think they change much. They're going the Super stocks, Mike. You've seen the Super stocks. They're not at full throttle most of the time till half track, sometimes later. So they can blow the tires away and hurt themselves that way, where the Pro stocks have a little bit more forgiveness in the throttle, so they can come out and surprise them. If you look at Preston's run on Friday night in that Super stock class, his first run ever in there, and he just about got past Kong and One Nation down there.
The National Farm Machinery Show Super Stock diesel truck winner this year, Saturday, was won by a Pro stock truck. You can see those exactly what you're saying, Ron, without even putting a bigger turbo on or trying to go to a multi-stage turbo. They can run it identical and just get into that throttle off the line and stay in it. Yeah, so that's a really good point.
I think if you guys want to hear my opinion, I know you didn't ask, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I think that Super stock class, I think it would be cool to put the 18.4 like the mini rod, the 2-wheel drive tires on those things. What do you think about that?
It'd be more tire.
They could get into it a little sooner, I think. Yeah.
Probably find a weak one.
Would it slow them? Would it slow the tires down a little bit, having the bigger tire?
Yeah, it would get more traction.
So then that you're gonna like you said, you can stay in the throttle sooner and kind of be onto the ground a little bit more. But I think, yeah, like Skyler says, that sounds like a good way to. Something's going to say ouch, or you're going to find out where it would be. But that's an intriguing thought.
It would set that class apart a little bit from the Pro stock, I think. But who knows? Who knows? So 2 trucks next year. So the goal next year is going to be 1-2. Is that?
I don't know. Coming out with a new truck, it's just the goal is to line the second one out and be competitive with this one. So. It's going to be a learning curve, even though you build 2 trucks exactly the same or 2 motors. There are always differences and problems, and they're never exactly the same. So
who does your engine work for you?
Patrick O'Brien out of Kentucky.
Okay.
When I announced that the diesels and dark corners, and I was like the relief announcer. I came in when they were still pulling at 2:00 in the morning, and the good guy. I'm not even joking. I was the innings eater. And but if there was one thing I heard 1,000 times that night, it was that O'Brien diesel. That's a very common name, or that's evidently a place to go in the world of diesel truck pulling.
Yeah, well known, and has a bunch of motors in the 3.0 class. So.
Yeah, and salty. You could, I tell you what, when that name would come up, you were usually looking at a pretty competitive vehicle too.
Did you pick any announcing tips up down there?
I tell you what, so that one was a really funny setup. That was with Full Pull Live, and at that point, Full Pull Live was still, if you've watched them, they've got their guy that announces to the crowd out there, and he's got his big Southern accent, and he's very, engaging and whatnot. Yeah, he's exactly. But we were announcing still exclusively from the trailer, so you would fly halfway across the United States, and then Ron, I'm sure you've done this too with them. You would actually announce from the TV screen in the trailer. So you're not hanging out with the locals. The locals would hear the local announcer, the live stream would hear the exclusive live stream announcer, and you're just sitting there just like talking to you. And it's a different environment to announce in. They've moved outdoors, and I think that was a good call to announce to the crowd. That's kind of how you want to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, it is kind of a weird sensation to be kind of in a box looking at a TV screen and talking.
It's headphones on, and it's
different. It's different.
Yeah, it's a little quieter.
Yeah, you can't hear the crowd's reaction, and that's kind of weird for me. I don't even like being in like some of the racetracks we do, where it's nice to have those air conditioned press boxes, but you can't hear the crowd, their reactions to anything. You can't hear the engine sounds as well. But
completely agree.
But so next year, 2 trucks. You going to have any more crew members with you, or
it might take some more than what we got? So,
is she handy with a torque wrench, or
she's pretty handy for everything? So,
right. Good deal. She got plenty of time between now and June 2026 to get all these things in order. Get a crash course in diesel technology here. So. Everybody pulling teams is one of the best. We had Preston Collins commenting here. He's watching too.
Skyler, one neat thing as I was looking at some of the stuff here, this is your 4th overall points championship. That has you actually tied. Now it's an 11-way tie. You got a lot of people hanging out with you, but that ties you for 19th all time in Outlaw Truck and Tractor pulling points championship standings. There have been hundreds of people. I mean, literally hundreds out there. Once you start getting up there into that top 20, that's got to start feeling pretty good. And I was kind of flipping through here. I mean, you're sharing the same number of points titles as big time pullers like, Doug Ortwich is on here. Murray Thornton comes in at 4. Cole Zajak's got 4. So you're in some big company. What does that kind of mean to you? When is that where you're starting to think, okay, hey, we're doing something kind of special here, or is it just nose to the grindstone, 1 year at a time, one pass at a time?
Yeah, I mean, we got it figured out, so we're going to keep rolling with it. And but yeah, 4. I didn't know. I figured I wouldn't be that. I mean, Outlaw's been around a long time, so I didn't figure I was in the top 20. But
there was
out of there.
One particular class that did we break that record? There'd never been a repeat.
Yes, the light limited pro stock class in the years that they'd like the 12 or 13, 11 years that they'd been competing with the Outlaws had never had a single repeat champion. So you see that a lot of those. I mean, this list goes on I'll have to count it someday. There's probably 200 names on it. The vast majority, winning a points championship is hard. Most people go their whole lives, they get 1 or they get none. You start getting up there into the 4s, the 5s, and then you've got some up there on Mount Rushmore. Whitey, he's up there with 14 of them. So you're going to have to keep going a while before you get up there with him. But you've cracked the top 20. That's got to mean something to you,
Yeah, that's didn't know that, so that's pretty neat.
Tell
your
buddies at work tomorrow.
Well, Skyler, congratulations on an awesome season, man. And the next year, the challenge is going to be real because you got that big old target on your back, man. There's a bullseye back there now. They are gunning for you. But anybody you want to thank for your season of success here?
Amy, Patrick O'Brien, Lenny Reed at Dynamite Diesel, Harts Diesel. There's a couple guys around here that help me with some welding work if we ever need welding in a pinch. It just takes a army to keep this show rolling. Buddies, if we have semi trouble, come help me throw something on it, keep it going. So I think we went about 15,000 miles this year. So
that sounds about right. Yeah, somewhere in that area. I think that's where I was at. So
it's makes for a long summer.
Well, and you guys, you really hit the stride of your season. I kind of call like you all, the pro stock pullers, the 540s, you're kind of on that back half of the schedule. Some people are getting close to wrapping up by Wisner. You're kind of just around really hitting your stride at Wisner, and then you hit it hard, go all the way down into Texas. So it certainly does push you, into the deep months. So it can be it's a gauntlet,
Yeah, and I like that because I'm always a little late to the party, but I like the being busier later in the year. So.
Well, it's an awesome season, man. The truck just keeps running better. It keeps looking better too. I swear every time I see it, it looks like you've done something to make it look even sharper than it was before. But congratulations on an awesome season, man.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see the second truck out next year.
Well, we might have a little update for it here. I hope around February we can.
There you go.
Sneak peek.
Yeah, keep us updated on social media there. We'd love to see it. So.
All right.
Thanks, Skyler. Appreciate it, buddy.
See y'all at the banquet.
Take care.
You betcha.
Speaking of the banquet,
there we go.
I got a message from the Lori Bauer, said, Pullers going to the banquet, make sure you get your rooms. That's going to be on top of us here before you know it. Well, shoot, what did I do? I'm having all kind of technical difficulties, even with my phone here. Let's see.
Are you looking for the dates for it?
No, I just want to make sure I got everything she said. Oh, okay. Meal tickets. Make sure you get the meal tickets reserved, and remind pullers to get their rooms reserved for the banquet. That's at Margaritaville at Osage Beach, Missouri. And that is November. It is the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So it is the 21st and 22nd. So, and there's tons of fun stuff to do there for the kids. Even they've got an indoor water park in the place. They've got a spa, hot tubs, pools. They've got bowling alleys, restaurants, bars, tons of stuff to do there. And that's just not even leaving the hotel.
Shopping for all the gals out there. Yeah, so this is something we've really talked about in my household, and I know others, is this doesn't have to be just the pullers or the men of the family going down there. This can be a family thing, and we encourage that. Like Ron says, there's a lot. Bring the family, have some fun. If you're walking across the stage getting an award, make sure the family is there to see it with you. It's a neat place that they have down there. Good food, good times, and we're looking forward to it. Banquet season, that's almost half the reason we do it, right, Ron? It's a good time.
That's right. You got the band on Friday night. You got the dinner on Saturday night, the awards. Like I said, there's something for everybody there. They've got an arcade. I forgot to mention that. There's an arcade. Did I mention there's bars? So there's 2 or 3 bars.
Yeah, I think we said that one. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, yeah, no reason why you shouldn't have a drink in your hand when you're there, because there's plenty of places to get it. So make sure you get those rooms reserved and get those meal tickets. Also, don't forget the Hohensee breakfast on Saturday morning. And speaking of Hohensee, not going to break out all the information yet, because there's still time for some of those purses to go up, but there are some classes being added to the Hohensee sweep next year. So pretty cool. The 3.0 diesel pickup class, we just talked to Skyler Leeper. That's one of the classes getting added. We have some increased purses in classes we've had in the past. So Hohensee Midwest, Hohensee now, it will be Hohensee in 2026. Really turning it up here and putting some money back in the pullers' pockets here and giving them something else to shoot for.
Yeah, amazing sponsor, amazing partnership. And, there's just, Ron, we're leaving our viewers with exactly what they need to. I've teased the schedule. You're teasing the summer sweep. They're already going to be sitting here saying, okay, what is up the sleeves for 2026? And we just wrapped up 2025 just a little bit ago. Always moving forward. It's always going to be entertaining. It's always going to be great.
And talking to promoters, some other states reaching out, wanting to extend Outlaw Nation out a little bit and put us in some new soil in some different states. Again, for next year, we'll see what happens, but there is potential for that. Getting some other classes fired up. The 2.6 Pro Street Diesel class is coming back with a vengeance in 2026. We're going to have several hooks for those. The mini rods are going to be out there. So a lot of cool things happening with the Outlaws. It makes it fun when we've got great sponsors like Case IH and Hohensee backing us up. So should be a great season. Trying to get caught up on the comments here. And Mark Ham said he's going to make it this year. Awesome.
Good deal. Going to be taking photos. That's cool.
Awesome. So, well, big thanks to Skyler Leeper for coming on, but we're not done spotlighting some outlaw pullers. Mike, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, let's check it out. Getting back on track with When the Smoke Clears. Thanks for covering for me last week, Ron, with Emily on there. That was a good little piece that they put together for her. So this week, we're really going to go to a class that we haven't talked about in a while. So we've talked about the heavy hitters really wrapping things up in Lufkin. We're going to slide back over to kind of a bread and butter class over there on the west side of Iowa, over there in Nebraska. A class I saw a lot this summer. The naturally aspirated two-wheel drive trucks. When the smoke clears, you'll be looking at an Outlaw. And the Outlaw that you're going to be looking at this week, Josh Hohensee in his multi-truck team, multi-truck family. A lot of them out there. Let's go ahead and take a look at his highlight video, and I'll pull up his biography. When the smoke clears, you'll be looking at the one we're featuring, the Thunderstruck. All right. Awesome video right there, courtesy of Mackenzie Teeting over there at Beer Money Pulling Team. Always a big thank you to her for putting that together. Biography shakes down like this. Josh Hohensee in the Thunderstruck / the Farmer's Nightmare. Now, when he sent it in, he actually did say the Farmer's Nightmare, that gray 1964 Ford that he debuted this year. That's kind of the truck that he's really associating himself with. However, the one that we saw him a lot with was that Thunderstruck Ford. So Ford through and through right there. So a couple of vehicles that he takes out there on the circuit. Says he's been pulling for 4 years. His first hook was over there in West Point, Nebraska. Great, great pull. His most memorable hook was in Pawnee City, Nebraska. I reached out to him. I was hoping to have him on the show. I don't have a lot of elaboration on the answers. So not sure what year, not sure what made it memorable. We'll talk to him sometime and get the details. But, hey, Pawnee City, he says that one's meaningful to him. Says the wildest ride he ever took was in Palmer. I had the opportunity to go out there and see Palmer for the first time this year. He says, I haven't won any points championships so far. He says his biggest pulling hero is Loy Warman. Now, I always need like a map. I make like a map in my notes. Loy is his father-in-law, I believe. Am I right or am I way off base there?
You're making the family tree out there, Mike?
Yeah, I do, because they have a lot of trucks, and there's the farmer's daughter and the farmer's nightmare and the farmer's. But Ron, Loy's his father-in-law, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so father-in-law looks up to. I'm assuming probably guided him, getting him into pulling. That's what it's all about. His day job, he's a farmhand. Pulling goals, I love this one. He says, my goal is to simply just always put on a great show. He says the best part about being an outlaw, and I really like this, the crowd that shows up to watch. We talk about our outlaw family. We talk about what it's like to be in the pits. He says to him what makes being an outlaw awesome are those fans in the stands. I was talking about that earlier. I think we've got the best fans in motorsports. I think they are a part of this family with us, and I love seeing pullers recognizing that out there. So best part is the fans. And his message to the fans, he says, if you're in first place or last place, it doesn't matter. It's always a great time behind the wheel of a truck or tractor. So there you go. Josh Hohensee from a pulling family. I think his father-in-law, his mother-in-law, his wife, all pull. They bring a cartload of trucks every time they show up. And, I had it in my notes one time all scratched out to who was who and who was connected to who. And then there's always the joke of, do you beat your father-in-law or do you not beat him? Do you let the wife win? And, there's some good drivers. They sort it out on their own, but he is your featured driver on When the Smoke Clears this week.
Awesome. Now, my question is, and I think I've spoke to him once or twice, but I've never asked him when I've seen him is if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. So, are you having that issue too, or
it's one of those. I try to guide it quickly and blend as much as I can. That way, if I get it wrong, they assume that it's just the way I talk. You ever do that, Ron? The best thing you can do is to just slide through them quickly. So Hohensee. That you get a little blend in there each time. Yeah, I'll never forget first time I pronounced Frank Boaboy's name. I called him Frank Bohabage, and that's how it looks like. But we do that. If you say it confidently and quickly, I said it all summer, and there's, like I said, there's a whole bunch of them in that family, and they didn't correct me yet. So
yeah. Well, some of them are just polite and they don't, but every once in a while, when I was with Missouri State Tractor Pullers, I was there for several years, and I think the last year I was there, a lady in the family came up and told me, this guy in a pro stock class, I'd been pronouncing her name wrong all those years. And it's like, you're telling me now? But
there is, and I joke, but truthfully, a name is what a puller has, and it is. We do want to make sure that we get that right. That's not something that we do just gloss over. But it's a curveball, but Josh Hohensee is what I roll with.
I mean, generally, I went with Hohensee or Hohensee. I wasn't sure, but I literally forgot to go ask him. But if I see a new puller in the pits and I see their name somewhere, I will seek them out to make sure that I get their name right, because sometimes there are some tricky names out there. So Jeremy Tyndall watching from North Carolina. Want to send some prayers out to the folks vacationing down in Jamaica. Man, keep your heads down there. A record-setting hurricane down there, getting ready for passing over right now. So they're saying it's like a hurricane-sized tornado, basically, the winds in this thing. So it's not gonna be good. Not gonna be good. So prayers going out there by down there. Keep your heads down if you're in Jamaica right now. So
Ron, here's my pulling question I have for you. I've been stewing on this a little bit. So the season's done. All three major associations in the books. The pulling. The next big thing is the farm show. It's way too early to talk about farm show, but this is a pulling podcast. Who's an outlaw that you think might be a dark horse that we see show up in Louisville this year, based on the season that we've seen? Maybe someone on the bubble, maybe someone, because I think there's a couple clear-cut guys. I think there's a couple clear-cut pullers based on the year they put together and based on success they've had before in Louisville. We're going to see a bullwhip two-wheel drive truck. I have no doubt about it doing its thing. But who's maybe someone that the world's not honed in on, but you and I have seen the season good enough to know, okay, we might see that outlaw get in October. We can make this
get in or do well. I mean,
either one. Who's a dark horse outlaw pick headed to Freedom Hall, just since that's the next big pull that we've got on our radar?
I'm gonna throw Murray Thornton's name out there.
Yeah, I like that one.
I think those guys have been there enough, and that truck really came on strong in the second half of the season. If they go in there with that setup they had, I think, and with his experience there, I think that could be a winner in that four-wheel drive class there on Wednesday night at the farm show. How about you? Who are you thinking about?
So mine is, so I love that pick. I think the precedent that he set there last year with really understanding that track and having the speed he built, I think that's something that could happen. Mine's less of, here's who I think is going to win it. And I'm going to throw a name I could see getting into the farm show that might not be on people outside of the Outlaws' radar right now. It's top of mind awareness. I'm right here in Macon County. I think Tim Fitzsimmons has an interesting resume to submit this year. He finished third with the Outlaws, which really puts him right on the bubble. But if you look at the Outlaws as kind of being one, the two-wheel drive truck class with us for a long time was, we had the two-wheelers. So a third place, you could almost say, is as good as a second or a first somewhere else. I think he's going to be a major bubble right now. I think that it would be very intriguing to see him warming up over there at Freedom Hall in a couple of months. I think he's going to be right on the edge. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Someone else I think that you may not be thinking about, that pulls a 5.0 Pro stock that won the points this year. He is having Lemke build him an all-out Pro stock motor setup for the tractor. And he said when he had those built, that was the intention, so they could run both setups. So if that is done, and winning the points, he should get in if he were to apply, because we've had Pro stocks in the past that have.
And exactly the Mettings, when the Mettings did that, not only like, oh, they got in, like that's nice, but they're a 5.0. Mettings got in and shook the whole order up.
Yeah, Porter, got in too.
Sure.
I don't think they changed the setup. I could be wrong, but I don't think they changed the setup. But Mettings did. Mettings, they did go. So that's very possible with the year he's had. Man, who knows? I mean, he's rookie season. Finished first and second in points. Pretty good deal. That family out of Oklahoma, Lacey Wager. So there's to watch as well. So
I like that. Yeah, I think that's a really good one. It'll be fun once we start getting into that late December and January, and we start chewing on, okay, who's there, who's not there, who have you heard from, who applied. That's a fun time of year. But now that the season's officially over, and it's almost like the other two pro groups, they kind of wait on us to throw the final red, and then everyone kind of says, okay, now we think about Louisville. So I had to throw that one out there and kind of see what the Outlaws are thinking, going in there. But that'd be very interesting. Also look for our, how do I say this, our perennial powers that show up at Louisville again and again to make some noise, as they always do. Looking at Donald Nelson winning his first points championship in a couple of years and wanting to get that truck back on top. It's already got 2 victories down at Louisville. Yep. Look for him to park that one in victory lane again. Cameron's always been right in the mix of things with his modified down there. So it's going to be fun going down to Kentucky. Long ways off, but our group's going to do great, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it. And I'm sure that Vern Huser put in his application as well. That tractor, he can stack a third motor on there, just like the Bull Buster or Cotton Candy can. So they set him up for that. They want to pull it.
Yeah, the Bull. That's another good point. You talk about Lacey Wager kind of having his with that. The Bull Buster was basically built so it could have that third put on any time that it wanted to as well. So that would be interesting to see that one go down there and do well.
Yeah, I surprised I haven't seen any comments about this topic tonight, Mike. I figured I might get inundated with comments and questions, but the press release went out today on the Limited Pro Stock Turbo, the box turbo. We are going to a box turbo for 2026 in the Limited Pro Stock class. It really seemed like the logical thing to do, as those horsepower numbers are getting up there and starting to get into 5.0 Pro Stock territory. And the expectation is to keep going out buying the latest and greatest turbo for that, just that little bit more horsepower. And of course, those are more expensive. And you have teams, popping 3 and 4 of those in a season. That tends to make people stay home sometimes instead of go pulling. And we need to keep that class alive. We're not the only organization talking about it. Excalibur, the Western Series, a lot of organizations are talking about it. But you can't always get pullers to give you their true opinion about something like this. But quietly, I'm hearing that a lot of the pullers are approving of it and are thankful that we're doing that. I think it's saving the class. I don't know if you look back at the 2025 season, the numbers in that 4-1 class just dropped off.
And that used to be, I mean, west of the Mississippi was the stronghold of 4-1s. Once you got over here into our territory, Ron, this was 4-1 territory, and you used to throw a rock and hit 15 of them at any pull of any of these associations you're talking about, the Outlaw, Excalibur, Western Series. Yeah, and we were getting to the point where they'd been ran hard for a long time, some very veteran pullers and some cornerstone tractors. They said ouch by the end of the year. And I think this is such a great forward-thinking move to protect those tractors and get those numbers back up to the 10, 15, 20s that we're accustomed to seeing. And let's be honest, a fan favorite class. And a lot of people deep in the trenches of pulling can say, well, single charger diesel classes, we think this, we think that. The fans love the 4.1s. They're a phenomenal class. This is a good move to ensure that the pullers keep pulling, the fans keep seeing what they like to see.
And there were several different things put on the table the last couple of years. Going to a bigger charger with a heavier wheel to keep the same horsepower. Then you really technically couldn't call it the 4.1 class anymore if you had a larger turbo. So basically, we're going to keep the 4.1. I think the housing, I think, is either going to be the same or similar, but the wheel is going to be heavier, more durable. And they will go back, 150, maybe 200 horsepower. They may lose. But, they'll start focusing on other areas, kind of like the Super Farm division has. They have to focus on camshafts and, they start looking at other things where they can, squeeze out a little bit of horsepower here, horsepower there. It's not just all focused on the turbocharger and the pump. So I think it's a good move. I think you were putting guys on the spot where they were like, okay, do I keep throwing money at this limited pro or do I just go to pro?
Yeah, exactly.
And put a 5-inch charger on there.
Bingo.
And it'll run all year long with few exceptions that they generally, those chargers stand up, season after season, those pro stock 5.0 pro charger or 5.0 pro stock chargers.
Yeah.
Same with Super Farm. They're just durable and they last. And that is good for the pullers because they're not spending that much money trying to stay competitive. It's good for the fans because they get full classes of tractors. It's good for the promoters because they want to see full classes of tractors.
Yep.
So, and it's good for the longevity of the class.
Yep.
So we want the class to stick around for a while. So we don't want to see it go away just because, they were starting to meld into pro stocks, literally. So we got to put them in between the Super Farm and the 5.0 pros. So they got to have their spot. And that's where we want them to be.
Yeah. And I like the way you say that because it almost makes the 4.1s again, because they were all going and everyone kind of I think the mindset they were getting was, well, I'm just going to run the bejesus out of it. And when it blows up, I'll just build back a 5.0, because they were getting so close anyway. This safeguards that class and lets there be that class. And that's a good thing because this is a popular class. This is a fan favorite and with good reason. This is a cool class.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let me see if I can, I've got this video from down there where it was raining, Mike. I want to see if I can pull this up here. Yeah, look at this video here that's Kyle out there. That literally looks like snow. This is Saturday night, a week ago, this past Saturday down in Lufkin, Texas. You see Kyle's doing the old shutter down as Lloyd Newton pulled out onto the track. And it literally does look like snow, but no, it's just big old raindrops in slow motion. So no AI used in this video. So
we need to go to that segment because I don't know if it was Beer Money or someone else, but there was an AI generated comparable photo to this tractor right here. We need to make a segment, Rom, where it's called, is it AI or is it real? But no, this is 100%. I mean, you just tell that's Kyle doing his thing. I like it because you know what he's thinking. He's I've seen that many a time, and we gave it all that we could. And I got on a couple forums, and they actually applauded the Outlaws, and they said, "Hey, you guys down there in Texas, you didn't pull the plug lightly." They said you did everything that you could and ran that show right up, and it wasn't for lack of trying. And that got noticed by people out there on the internet, and I thought that. I just thought, yep, that's kind of how we do things. So thought that was a good reputation that we boosted right there.
So awesome show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, Skyler Leeper, for coming on tonight, celebrating his back-to-back points championships. Tune in next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time for more Outlawed Live. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks, Mike.